It's a problem Bay Area leaders go to bed and wake up to every day. We're talking about homelessness, and we looked at the numbers. You know, in the past 5 years, our state devoted more than $20 billion to fight homelessness, get people off the streets. But get this, despite that spend, and it's a big spend, the number of unhoused people almost tripled during that very same time that the money was going out. 170,000 people homeless. So if that number's hard to picture for you, just think of this, a packed Levi's Stadium. Imagine every one of these seats filled, and then triple that view. It's roughly the number of people who are unhoused on Bay Area streets. So with so many homeless, people on both sides of that political spectrum say, show us the money. Where did it go? Who spent it? And what did it get spent on? And what was the return for the billions of dollars? It's time for an accounting, and they are doing it in the form of a first-of-its-kind audit. You can expect that accounting by October, and we'll bring it to you as soon as we get our hands on it. You know, some of you say the Fed should step in to help the homeless crisis, and that is happening in San Jose. Housing and Urban Development awarding San Jose more than $11 million to go towards things like emergency response and something called supportive housing. At last count, San Jose alone disclosed more than 5,000 people living on their streets.
Homelessness has become the moral crisis of our times. And that's really what we're here to celebrate today, is an incredible partnership across levels of government. $11 million is a lot of money, and it's going to make a big difference for hundreds of people in our community.
So that same initiative will distribute $50 million throughout the Bay Area. And here's a reality. Many who live on the streets sometimes are faced with that impossible task of choosing between a roof over their heads or having to give up their pets. Our Lauren Toms looks at a new proposal that might help out and change that.
Man's best friend has a deeper meaning for Vivian Neal and her dog Bentley.
I never knew animals was like this. It's my first animal I ever had in my life. And I would have been had one, but I knew they was like this.
It's been hard enough for Vivian to get housing without a pet. She's lived on the streets of San Francisco for 20 years, despite several attempts to secure a more permanent place to live. But after getting Bentley 2 years ago, she says she'll choose him over housing every time.
I could have been in the shelter, but they wouldn't let my dog come, so I'm not going in there. I'm not separating from him. Like I said, this dog saved my life. You know, I couldn't dare do him like that.
There are limited options for unhoused people with pets. Only a couple shelters in San Francisco allow people to bring their animal, which for many, like Vivian, serves a much more important role.
You know, because I'm not trying to do the shelter thing. You know, basically I'm scared of that because I've been molested out here. I didn't woke up with men having their hands down my shirt and my pants, you know. I'm just trying to be in somewhere where it's just me and him.
But a bill in the hands of the California state legislature seeks to make getting housing with a pet more accessible. AB 1215 would direct $32 million to provide resources for shelters to accommodate people and their pets.
People sometimes deny themselves the safety and security of shelter because they can't take their family member with them. And that happens with folks who are unhoused and as well as people who are victims of domestic violence.
Jennifer Scarlett is the CEO of San Francisco SPCA. They regularly provide services for animals whose owners had to make the difficult decision of seeking care for themselves or staying in their current living situation.
It is what, for some people, keeps them going and gives them a little slice of hope. And so we have to remember that, as much as, you know, we have a tendency to judge, but animals are apolitical. They don't judge. So they're good for us.
And Vivian knows this all too well.
If it wasn't for Bentley, I probably would have tried to commit suicide by now. You know, but when I go to get sad and depressed, he just does something to make me smile again, you know.
She won't go anywhere without Bentley and says she'd take advantage of housing opportunities so long as she could bring her best friend with her.